So you just hit publish on your latest YouTube video. The views are starting to roll in, but then you see it, a massive mistake. Maybe it's a bad take that you left in, or even your phone number you forgot to blur out. I've definitely done that one. Or you've got a copyright claim on your music already. The panic starts to set in. Do you go and delete the video, losing all those views and comments that came through immediately? Or is this something we can potentially salvage? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use YouTube's built-in video editor to surgically fix these issues live, all while keeping your views and your comments and your video URL exactly the same. But I do have a big warning up front that this is not a creative video editing tool like Adobe Premiere or CapCut. You can't go and add new B-roll, new footage, or your own music. And you can't fix things like bad color correction. This tool is only for subtraction and concealment. So you can think of this tool as emergency surgery for your video more than a creative tool. So to access this, you want to head over to YouTube, come up to your little profile picture and choose YouTube Studio. On the left, we hit Content. And you want to go through and you want to find the video that you want to make changes to. So I'm just going to pick this video here. We want to select on it. And then over on the left, we've got our editor. So the first tool we've got access to in here is trim and cut. So this allows us to trim down our video or to specifically cut out sections as well. Again, subtracting only, not adding stuff in. So we can press on the plus button here, and then we've got some handles that appear as you would find in most video editing tools. This will allow us to adjust the start time of our video and the end time of our video. So if we just want to adjust the timing on the start or the end, we can easily do that. But if, for example, there is a section in the middle that we'd like to cut out, then this is where we can use the new cut feature in here. So let's position this playback head here around where we want to make a cut or near the area that we want to remove. And we can just come up here to new cut. So now we've got a second set of these handles here, but the way that it works is anything that's in red is going to be removed from our video. So we can, again, choose where we want the cutting section to start and where we want it to finish. And we can apply that by hitting the tick here. Or if we don't want to apply that change, we can just hit the cancel button and that will be removed. Now, one thing I would strongly recommend you doing, especially if it's a longer video, is using the zoom here to zoom in so we can really refine where we want these cuts to be made so that they are precise and not just rough. And then if we zoom back out and we click here, we can then play this section and it's going to skip over that. So we can preview it here before we apply that change. So I'm going to hit the tick to apply that. And we can see that that section here is now gone from our video. So again, if we hit play here and watch this,
listen to this tab, and we can just hit,
it's going to preview it back without that section in there at all. Now we can still undo that from this point. I can hit delete to remove that cut. I can hit edit to make finer adjustments to it. But we can also add extra cuts. So if there was another section down here that we wanted to remove, I could again come up here to new cut. This is going to add a second cut. We then follow that same process where we choose the area we'd like to remove, and then we can hit the tick to apply that. Now, while we can delete our cuts up here to remove them, there is also an undo button if we'd like to undo that way. Now, one really important thing to note here is that now that we've got these cuts here ready to process or ready to actually save, they're not processed until we hit save. So we have to hit save in order to get back to apply some of those other features and things in here, because you'll see that the options here are gone for that now. But it's also really critical that you understand that there's no undo or rollback feature once you apply these now. So if I hit save here now, it will apply those to my live video. It will take some time to render. It could be half an hour, it could be an hour, again, depending on the video. But then those changes are live on your video with no way now to roll back. There used to be, but there's not anymore. So for this video, I'm going to hit discard changes so we can roll back and I can show you the rest of the features here. We also have the ability in here to blur out any faces or a number plate or something like that that maybe you didn't want to show in there, or a phone number in my case. And we can then choose a face blur or a custom blur. So face blur is obviously going to auto detect faces in there. We can press on that. It's going to go through and analyze our footage. It does say that this is going to happen in the background. So we can just close out of this while that's still processing, and we can come back and add that blur once that's done. But also with the option to add in a custom blur, which is done at a specific point in time. And we can also change what that will look like. So let's just say that we didn't want this first paragraph of text here actually visible. I can resize this box to cover that. You'll see in our timeline down here, we've got this blur icon now, and we've got our effect here for this. So we can adjust the time that this blur is happening. So again, very similar. We've got our start and end times for this blur, and we can line that up with where we want this happening in the video. Now the default here was for a rectangle. If we wanted an oval shape, we can switch it to oval. We can again resize it or pick it up and move it around to where we want it. And then we adjust how long we want it on screen for. But there's also a setting in here where we can track an object with where we've positioned this. Is going to keep it in that position throughout the video. If something was moving, then it would follow that along. So that would be great if you were blurring out something that was maybe scrolling on screen, or you had a car that you were tracking with a number plate you needed to blur out. You could use the object track feature. If it's just a fixed position on the screen of the video, like it is here, then we could just fix the position there. And to undo or remove that, we've got the undo button here, and we've got the delete button up here as well. Jumping back to the face detect for blurring, you can see it's now detected my face. If there was multiple faces in the video, you get to pick here which faces you want to blur. So we can select this one, let's hit apply, and that's then going to apply that over the next couple of minutes, a blur on my face wherever it is shown in the video. So whether it's the full screen shot like this, or whether it's down the bottom here, those are now automatically going to be blurred. The next one down is audio. So this will let us add a new audio track into our video here. So we can go through YouTube's music library. We don't have the ability to upload our own. We can only access the ones in the YouTube music library. We can preview them here. We can search for a specific track, or we can filter by mood, BPM, duration. We can then play back the different tracks to hear what they sound like. And when we've found one that we like, if I had a chicken, why not? We can hit the plus button, and that's going to drop it down into our timeline here and add that into our video. So we can pick this up where we want this music to be. We can move it around, and we can also adjust the volume on this as well. So we press the little 3 dots here, we can adjust the mix level. But if we just have this on maximum now, then throughout this section here, you won't hear me talking anymore. This is going to override everything that was happening at that point in the video, which if you're trying to get around a copyright claim or something, then maybe that's what you might have to do. But if you do want to mix it with any spoken piece of audio like this, then we can dial this down so that we're able to hear a mix of both. And again, with anything like this, you want to hit play to preview it to make sure it's how you want it before you go ahead and save these changes. We also have the ability in here to adjust how long the music track is. Now we can't extend it past how long the music actually is. So in that case, we could add the same track again, or we could add a second music track, a different one that might start at that point. So we can't just click and drag it because it's actually the full length of our video here at this point. So we do need to shorten it down. So let's make it too short. Then we can pick it up and we can move it to the end. So when one music track finishes, the next one starts. And then from there, we can drag it out so that fills the remainder of the video if you need that. I'm going to hit undo on this now to remove those from here. Now the next two here, end screens and info cards, we normally add these at the time of uploading your video, or you can do them afterwards as well in the end screen editor. But you've also got access to add and edit end screens and info cards directly in here as well. So an end screen can only be added in the last 20 seconds of a video. So I do like that there is a visual representation of this here, but we can just come up here to edit if we want to make changes to that. And we've got the same tools in here. So let's jump across to the end because these can only be in the last 20 seconds of the video. We can see our subscribe button for our channel. We can see the video that we've picked here, Elgato teleprompter review. And we've also added an element here for the best recommended video for that viewer. We can add different elements here. If we come up to element, we can add a video playlist, a link to a channel, or a link off YouTube if you've got that set up. And we have a dedicated video just on adding these, which I'll link in the description for you. But once they're all added in, then we can just again use the little trimming feature here to specify how long we actually want to have these on screen. So even though the maximum time is 20 seconds, we don't need to use the full 20 seconds. We can bring it up at the end of the video where it makes sense. So let's go back out of this one. And probably the most recent update in here is the YouTube create a video clip feature in here. So this will let us clip out a section of our video to have as its own YouTube video clip, a separate video on our channel that is referencing this longer clip. So this could be really helpful if, say, you've got a long form podcast or a live stream and you want to pull a few little clips out of that, then you can directly do that in here too. So we can just hit add a video clip. Again, very much the same as the tools we had before, where we can specify a start time and an end time of the clip. But here we can also do it from the text as well. So we could just select the text that we wanted and choose confirm new selection, and it's going to do that for us. I think this is pretty cool how we can actually use the text here, the transcript from the video, to help us find the section that we want. Now, the other new addition in here when you're creating these clips, again, this is for a totally separate piece of content, we can here add in a video intro or an outro to append to that clip. Again, this isn't making changes to our primary video that we're editing here. This is a separate video clip, but for that, we can add in an intro video or an outro video. So if we select this, it says here that our intro video needs to be between 1 and 30 seconds. So it has to be a short intro, a separate video that is up on your channel. So it says select from eligible videos or upload a new one. Now, once we're happy with this clip, we've maybe added an intro or an outro if we wanted that, we can then choose create draft, and that'll be saved as a draft video on your channel in under your uploads area. Personally, this isn't a feature that I would use too much. This is too limited, especially when you're comparing it to other tools like Descript or Opus Clip that will repurpose your longer form content into engaging short form clips. I personally think you get much better results with one of those tools, but I do like that they've added it in here too. So that's a quick look at the YouTube video editor and the tools you've got access to live repair your videos on YouTube. But the best way to avoid this stress and this risk is to have a rock solid editing workflow before you upload. So to help you with that, I do have a link on screen to our free Primal Video Method video editing guide. It's a PDF guide that you can download, you can print out and follow along when you're editing your videos, but it's also got an AI prompt in there as well to help step you through the most efficient editing process in your specific video editing tool. This is the exact checklist and process that we use for every video we make. So grab your copy of that with a link on screen. There's also a bunch of other resources in the description box below to help you even further. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.
All right, so I'm currently at my dashboard on smmshiba.com, and do not get confused by the website names. SMM Shiba and SMM Dodge are actually the same website. So all you have to do once you've created yourself an account here is to go on list, click on this category icon, select, and here you want to select something, basically any option that says from with video. So I'm going to choose this one right here. And this should be already fine, 2014, 2017, yeah. Now I'm gonna click on buy, confirm, and now you can go onto your product orders and you will see this is pending. All right, the order is now completed. This didn't even take 2 minutes. What you want to do now is you want to copy that ID, and we want to be organized, right? Especially if we have multiple channels, you will not find them again. So make sure to save it somewhere.